Okay, I want to make a video about pornography. I was just sitting thinking to myself, and it occurred to me that I feel ashamed of myself for all the pornography I viewed in my life. And to my mind, pornography is an ill of society. To my mind, it's damaging to everybody, from the people involved in making it to the people who end up observing it. I also think it's a weapon. I've made a lot of videos about how I think our society is being undermined by particular people, and I have mentioned pornography before. And notwithstanding the fact that it is, in my opinion, being used for bad effect, it's harmful to everybody. Now, I am not able to sit on my high horse and say anything from a position of I don't know how to phrase it. I doubt there are any men in our society who haven't viewed pornography. Now, what does that mean? Now, this is a bit of a philosophical question as well, because I know what pornography does to the human brain, to the male brain. I think at the moment the big problem we have is access to it. When I was a boy, pornography was, you were limited in your access to it, and I think that now, with the advent of the internet, it's an enormous problem. And I think that it diminishes people's self-respect, everyone's self-respect. It's the elephant in the room. I don't really use that expression very often, but it is, in my opinion, the elephant in the room. Women, our women, all women, know that this is going on. All men know it's going on, and we do nothing. Why do we do nothing? Well, as I've said before, in our society I think men have been reduced in power, and I think we need to recover it, because women are not going to stop this, nor should they. It's up to men to stop it. But where does it come from? I can speak as a man, and I'm certain that every other man is the same biologically, and I can say that the sexual urge in a man is arguably, I think, the font of all creative endeavour, because everything that men do that's creative is designed for their advancement, and their advancement is designed to attract better female company, if we're going to get down to the nuts and bolts of it. And so pornography sits there as an unworthy outlet, in my opinion. But what's a worthy outlet? Must we all be monogamous and married? I've been married twice. I've had numerous girlfriends in my life. The only thing, in my opinion, that kept the sexual relations I had with my female companions or spouses was absence. Being away from them for some time. That's the only thing that kept the sexual relations between us new. That is time away from each other. Companionship's something else, that's different. And I think it's the lack of excitement, shall we say, that really weighs on the sexual relations between couples. Because you see the person every day, there's no excitement. There's zero excitement. Oh well, you can try and manufacture it, sure. But it all ends up, frankly, quite sad. That's the truth of it. Now, there is more to life than sex. Certainly. Definitely. But we have this thing called pornography that everyone pretends doesn't exist and everyone knows is harmful to everybody. I'm not going to hear arguments from people who say, oh, but yes, no, it's no good. It's no good. It's a bad thing. You might say it's a solution to a problem. It's a bad solution to a problem. It's a bad solution to a problem. What is the solution to the problem? I don't know. This is a tricky topic because sexual behaviour is something that ought to be a matter for a person's self-discipline. But I'm telling you, the sexual urge from a male's perspective, is enormous. How do you deal with it? Frankly, any form of masturbation is an exercise in failure. That's the truth of it. That's why, from a male perspective, having sex with a woman is conquest. Feminism's garbage. So if women have their own opinions on these things, so be it. I'm telling you, this is how men see it. This is how men see it. So what's the answer? What's the solution? I don't think pornography is it, because, you know, whacking off to pornography is failure. It's simple failure, and it conditions the brain badly to respond to something which is a complete and utter falsehood. It's falseness. It's not good for the man at all. It's bad for his self-esteem. What is good for him is sexual conquest. That proves him to be, I don't know how else to put it. What I'm speaking is the truth here. The absolute bold truth, or bold truth, however you want to use that expression. Now, from a male perspective, we have to earn that. We have to earn that. And the payoff, the payment, shall we say, is access to the women you want. Pornography completely circumvents that and poisons the man whilst offering him a momentary false image of something that he's not actually getting. It's really, really bad. And I think that if we were controlling it much more stringently, then we would have a society of men who are more, I would say, self-respecting and self-productive, more success-orientated, shall we say, so that the men, we men, would be more geared towards doing things which would impress women in real life, so as to get them interested in us in the way we want them to be. We have a big problem with pornography, and it's way out of hand. It's crazy. Kids are accessing it. It's crazy. It has to be nailed. It has to be stopped. I'm just speaking the truth. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. It's a problem. And I'm not going to hear anyone who's involved in the production of it telling me, oh well, it's satisfying a need. No, it's no good. It's not good for anyone. It's as bad for people as any other poison. We all know it. So I think that we have to move away from it as people, as individuals. But then what do we move to? what would this? There are certain aspects of the feminist poison which would try to undermine a man's natural masculine tendency towards aggression and desire for sex, but they're normal and natural and healthy, and his aggression is not the same as sexual desire. They're completely separate things. The aggression is more to do with competition, and competition's healthy. It brings out the best in people. Pornography is a weak, nasty excuse. It's no good. And I'm speaking that which billions of men know is true. So I think on one hand we have to curtail pornography, but we have to have something else in place. And I think that focusing on positive male masculine identity and behavior is part of it, and that does not imply emasculating a man and saying, oh, he must be this perfect virtuous thing. No, I think that a man's strength is important. I think that encouraging strength in men, which is the opposite of this feminist evil, is the answer. And male competition is normal in nature, absolutely normal, and you have to encourage men to meet the challenge, and then people are more comfortable. It's this weakness invites the very problems that people who would try to make men weak are trying ostensibly to avoid. Weakness invites badness. Strength keeps it away. So, but then also this, I'll go on about this topic in another video, I think, because it's a big topic. How do we deal morally with sexuality between men and women? I don't believe that we can be as stringent as we want to be. For example, fornication, sex outside of marriage. I don't think you could possibly get rid of it. Having said that, in nowadays society, we're putting off marriage later and later and later, and putting off children, and then we're interfering with the sexual chemistry of women by issuing them with the pill all the time, and that does affect a woman's sex drive. Seen it, done it, been there, got the t-shirt. Can't teach me nothing about it. So we have to, I think, return to a more natural way of living. Chemically and otherwise trying to interfere with what men and women are is garbage. We need to return to a satisfying situation. Women like manly men. Women like dominant, powerful, strong men. They don't like weak-willed, wishy-washy little flip-flops. And then you have a satisfying situation between men and women. Women are getting what they want, and men are getting what they want. But how do we organise this? Do we thoroughly approve of fornication? How does this work? And these are genuine questions that I think need answering. Because at the moment we've got this weird thing that no one truly understands and no one's really paying attention to. It's the sexual issue between men and women. I think we should actually sit down and actually get an idea, get a grip of what it is and what it isn't. And to my mind, the fact of the matter is that fornication is something that is going to happen and is normal, and is preferable, in my opinion, to masturbation, which defeats everybody, and certainly not pornography. Pornography is just bad news. But this presents a challenge for us on moral grounds. What's decent, what's indecent? But I think that we can get around this, truly, as long as we talk about it logically and rationally. I will make another video on this.